how to start over in your life and to do so quickly. I'm going to give you 5 simple steps that you can use to go ahead and make that next step. I know that there are people, you can make this next step before the new year even comes. I know there's people that are looking for a new beginning who are, in a place where they know a certain season has ended for them. They know that where they are right now is not it, and you're looking for some sort of guidance as to how you can get to the next thing, how you can start over and move forward. And so I'm going to give that to you today. The very first thing that you need to do in order to start over in your life quickly is to make a decision. Like, literally, I know this seems like such a small, step, a small thing, but without a decision, there's nowhere for you to go. There's no motivation. There is no movement forward. Making that decision is you saying, I have decided I'm ready for something new. I am deciding that I want to do something different. This is you, putting your foot down and essentially saying that you're not only deciding that you want something different, but you're also making a commitment to pursuing the journey ahead, the journey to that new thing. You're making a commitment to that. Even before you start mapping out all of the steps before there, you have to make that decision that this this is it. I am committing to starting over. I'm committing to this new beginning. And so, first things first, make a decision. It seems like it can be simple. For some people, it can be. You may have gotten all the way up to your wits' end and you're like, listen, that's easy. Like, I made the decision. Now, what's next? And for other people, even just making that decision is a little bit hard. You're like, ooh, like, maybe there's some mindsets you have to navigate to kind of overcome it. Maybe there's other people involved in the possibility of your new beginning, and so you're considering all sides. Maybe you're a people pleaser and you're concerned about what other people will think about the decision you make should you decide to do something different or become someone different or move somewhere different or whatever it may be. And so that may be a little more challenging for you, but regardless, first step is to make that decision. The next thing you want to do is identify a target. So you've already made the decision. Yes, I am doing something different. And yes, I'm committing to whatever that journey brings to take me to this new beginning. The next thing you need to do is identify where it is that you want to go. Identify where you're heading and why. And this can be a physical place, or this can be, a mental place. This can be, a version of yourself you're looking to get to. It depends for you, but you want to identify a target so that you know where you are going, and you want to be as specific as possible. Of course, there's certain details that you will not know until you get along the journey, but sitting in this place after you've made your decision that you want something new, when you're identifying your target, you want to get as specific as possible about where it is that you want to go, who you want to be, what it is that you want to have, whatever that new beginning looks like for you. Number 3 for starting over in your life fast is to make a strategic plan. So you made the decision, I'm going somewhere new. You have identified a target. You've decided this is where I am going. This is where I'm headed. Make a strategic plan. Ask God for wisdom. God definitely gives us wisdom as we ask. He will give you a plethora, an abundance of wisdom if you were to ask Him. You can also seek wise counsel at this stage, because where you're going is going to be somewhere new. So you may not even have all of the pieces that you feel like you would need in order to, go forward in that thing. You may not know the details that you need to know in order to put them in the plan. Let's just say you're making a financial plan and you're not really a financial person. Seek wise counsel from somebody who is. Maybe you are making a plan to become a new person and there are some mental or emotional roadblocks. Maybe you want to hire a therapist to help you get to that place. But regardless, this is a stage where you can begin to seek wise counsel to help you with your strategic plan and to fill in any gaps that you may have. Do whatever research is needed. I mean, obviously, we don't want to get stuck in analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis, but you do want to do enough research where you are able to build out a plan that you can actually work and see it work for you. Consider the ways that you will carry out this plan daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, etc. So, as you are building out these steps, look bigger picture and then get down to the nitty gritty of how you are carrying this out in your everyday life so that you can see it, come to fruition. And of course, at this stage, you also want to get very specific in that plan so that you can literally look at that plan and know what you're supposed to do and at any given moment, know where you are, etc. And so, I'm sure we have all heard of setting SMART goals. This is where you want to do as much of that as possible. Are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound goals to go within your strategic plan. And time bound can mean I'm going to do this specific thing by this date, but it can also mean I'm going to do a specific thing this many times a week, this many times a day, this many times a month, etc. But you want to put some time on there as well. And I know, like, just to take a moment before I go into numbers 4 and 5, I have definitely started over plenty of times in my life. And I know that this process, it depends where you are when you're starting as to which of these steps will be the easiest and the most challenging. I know, like, looking way back when I quit that first toxic job, that was the first, major decision I made to start over, or at least the one that I can think of right now. And making that decision was easy. Like, it was like, hey, this right here is not going to work. Like, I don't know what other options I have, but making the decision that something had to be done was easy. But then identifying a target was where I seeked out wise counsel to help me. I hired a therapist. Granted, my first therapist wasn't the one that I ended up going with, but that's besides the point. I seeked out wise counsel, hired a therapist, went to a few other people just to navigate and try to talk out, like, okay, I know what I dislike about this thing, but what is it that I truly desire, and where is it that I would truly thrive? If this isn't it, how can you help me to develop what is? And sometimes we just need to talk that out. Sometimes we need additional perspective. I sought out some other wise people who had been through certain things. Now, granted, you do have to filter through what advice you get, because sometimes people speak from their place of fear or from their own experiences, which may not mirror yours. But regardless, for me, that challenging step when I left that first toxic job was the identifying a target. And I was able to get a clear answer from my doctor. She said, hey, listen, here's what I prescribe you. You need a new job. So let's make that happen. And so, I went forward. I didn't make any major full career altering decisions at that moment, but I did decide, hey, you need to be at a different school, at a different location. And thankfully, we were able to make that happen within a month. And so, like I was saying, each step can look different for you, depending on where you start. Some may be more challenging depending on where you are. And so, you know, the next step, number 4. Now, listen, I know as a person who loves to organize, who helps others with organization, or who has in the past helped people with organization, that this step can definitely be challenging for some people, especially those who find certain things to be sentimental, people who value tradition, people who value just, having certain things because their mom or their grandmother or their great grandmother had it, etc. But, this step is very necessary, and that is to clean up. And so cleaning up can be with your physical items. So that means letting go of physical items that do not align with where you stated that you want to go, the target that you set up, the things that don't align with that. It can be mindsets. There are certain mindsets that just won't suit you in the next, and they may not be bad. They may be things that helped you very well where you were. They may be things that got you to where you are, but they may not be able to carry you to the next space. And so it's evaluating, hey, what mindsets do I need to let go of in order to move forward? Relationships. This doesn't mean cut everybody off or anything like that, but it can mean that, either some people cannot go to the next, the new thing with you, or it could mean that relationships need to shift. Some may need to be promoted, meaning, you need to get closer and really foster and strengthen certain relationships. And some may need to be, a little bit more distance put between you and those people, whether it be, platonically, romantically, professionally, etc. It's rearranging. So you're not just throwing things away and clearing things out. You're also reorganizing what you already have. in preparation for moving forward into that new beginning and starting over in your life. And then habits. Now, this one again can be challenging. You want to clear out the old habits that again may have gotten you where you are now, but they will not be able to sustain you in the new. The things that, maybe have been something that you've been doing since childhood or you've been doing since whenever. It's been years, it's been decades. You're used to doing this thing. But when you made that decision and you set a target, you're looking at it and you're really evaluating it. And you're looking at your strategic plan and saying that, something's got to go. And some of these habits do not align with what I say I want. Some of these habits do not align with the strategic plan I've set out for myself. And so it may mean either eliminating certain habits, minimizing them, and also, of course, building in certain habits throughout the time. And so the cleaning up phase for some people that carry everything as sentimental, for some people who do not like change, this may be the area in which you are challenged the most. This may be the area in which, you know, it may take you a minute to reinstate that decision you made in the beginning, because it will cause you to have to let go of some things and rearrange some things in your life, which means that there will be change. I know for me, I posted a reel recently talking about my journey of deciding to stop saying that I'm not a runner, and to actually put forth the effort to implement that as a regular part of my life, because certain seasons call for certain things, and there's a different dimension of health and a mindset that I'm really trying to lock in this season, that I can't keep saying I'm not a runner, and I can't keep eliminating running from my life. And so even for me, one habit for me was saying I'm not a runner, and one habit that I needed to implement was to, hey, you don't have to run a marathon, you don't have to sprint and do the most, but you know this is going to be helpful for you in getting to that place that you made a decision that you want to be. And so, when you're cleaning up, give yourself grace, especially if you're a person that doesn't like change. But remember the decision you made in the beginning, remember that target that you set, and continue to keep your strategic plan before you so that you can keep moving through this phase in order to get to the next, which is simply to get moving and to keep going and to stay the course. And so you have made a decision. Hey, I can't stay here. Need something new. I'm ready to start over. Let's go. Let's get it, right? You have identified a target. You've decided, I want to be this person. I want to go to this place. I want to attain this thing. Whatever it may be, you've set your target. I want to go, a certain place. You've set your target. You have went ahead and made a strategic plan of how you're going to become that person, get that thing, go to that place, etc. You have cleaned up, meaning you have cleared out things that cannot go, and you've also reorganized things that are going to stay into the places where they belong and where they can, be in place to help you move forward. And so now you're ready to run with that plan that you set out. The Bible says to write the vision and make it plain on tablets so that he may run who reads it. And so you have your plan, and now it's time to run with it. And by running, it doesn't always mean that you have to go fast, but you should be going at a steady pace, whatever that looks like. If your target was healing, then your pace may be slower. If your target is, to shift your mindset, then your pace may be somewhere in the middle where you need to be diligent about it, but it takes time to shift your mindset. If your target is to reach a certain goal by a certain date, then maybe that requires you to actually move at a quicker pace, and not outpacing God or anything like that, but being very diligent and strategic about moving forward. And so at this phase, you will start implementing that strategic plan. And I say keep going and stay the course because, listen, making the decision to start over in your life is going to require more out of you than what you had to, put out in the previous phase of your life. And so there's going to be moments when you get tired. There's going to be moments when you start to second guess whether or not you made the right decision. There's going to be moments when you have to be pruned and you have to be stretched and you have to grow. And those things don't always feel good, right? But remember your decision and keep going and stay the course, because at the end of the day, you made your decision to start over for a reason. You set your target for a reason. And yes, that middle may get a little messy. It may get a little ugly. It may get a little hard. but it is worth continuing to pursue it because you are worthy of getting to the other side. So expect that. Continue to keep the original mission in mind, even if you have to change directions along the way. The original mission, the original target, etc., keep that in mind. But, as you go along, you may see, hey, there's a better way to do this, or you may learn something new and decide, there's a better strategy to implement with your plan. And so, you can be flexible in that way. But regardless, these are the 5 steps that you need to start over in your life fast. Make a decision, identify a target, make a strategic plan, clean up in all areas, clear out things and reorganize what you're going to take with you, and then get moving, keep moving, and stay the course. Now, if you're somebody that's like, hey, I want a new beginning, but I feel like I can't even make a decision about where I would want to go because I don't feel like I know myself. I don't feel like I have what it takes. There's something I just feel like there's a gap in clarity. Then I encourage you to pre-order Restored, a guided journal, so that you can sit with God, sit with yourself to kind of work through some of your thoughts. You can really solidify yourself in knowing who you really are, so that the decisions that you make, the targets you identify, and as you go through the rest of these steps, you feel like you have a firm foundation under you to be launched into your renewed vision. And then at the end of the journal, it takes you through a process of actually writing out and making a plan for that new vision in your life. And so I encourage you, go ahead and go to restoredjournal.com and pre-order your copy. If you're someone that's like, hey, I need a little more assistance with this. And I hope that this was helpful to some people who are like, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready for something new, and just tell me what to do and I'm in there. So I hope that you guys have a healthy and wholesome Friday, and I will talk to you soon, God willing. Love you bunches.